game is coming up, what meetings they've had in the recent past as well. The King Power Stadium is looking fantastic. The music is blaring. I've had to have my output turned up because I couldn't hear myself speak, or I couldn't hear the guys. The Fox's eyes are emblazoned on the screens around us. The sprinklers are out. The Sky Bet Championship hoarding is up, which means kickoff is imminent. Now, West Brom have been really good this season. They're almost certain to clinch a top six finish. Automatic promotion is now out of the question, but they're 7 and 10 points clear of Hull City and Coventry City respectively, although both of those clubs have a game in hand. But the Baggies are on a superb run, only one defeat in 11 games. They face Sheffield Wednesday in one of their final games as well, so they'll certainly be looking at that one for all 3 points. Dean, Ashton and Nigel Adderley are alongside me. Dean, they've been like the steady Eddie of this competition, haven't they, West Brom? They've not done anything hugely spectacular, but they're there because they're putting consistent performances.
They've got a terrific manager in Carlos Corberán, and I think they've slightly overachieved actually for what I expected of West Brom this season. They've been in the playoff picture for a long period of time now, and I think the biggest compliment I can give them is, in terms of the way they're set up and how organised they are, is 17 clean sheets, only bettered by Leeds, but the fewest fouls per match, which means they don't have to commit because they're so well organised. And that is down to good coaching. It's down to having a good number of senior players in the side. And I think that's credit to Corberán. Yes, would they like to have scored more goals, of course, and be more exciting at times? Absolutely. They've missed their forward players, you know, as Nigel talked about. Josh Madge has been out for a period of time as well, and I think there's still a little bit more that this West Brom team can give, and I certainly wouldn't want to face them in the playoffs.
I agree with Dean. I think had they had a fit Daryl DK or a Josh Madger this season, I think they will be challenging around the top four, because I think the job that Corberán's done, considering he inherited a team bottom of the league in October of 2022, it's a remarkable job. They fell away last season, they got themselves into the top six and then had a poor finish, and I'm sure that's motivating them here today. They won't be relaxing, even though they're virtually assured of a playoff place, and their record against Leeds and also against Ipswich is excellent. They drew away from home and beat them both at home, so they'll have absolutely no fears coming here today. And as we can see on the far side, they've got a massive following behind them.
Yeah, they certainly do. Not far to travel either for them. Leicester today. Sheffield Wednesday is their next game away. And then they face Preston North End at home, so they should be well in the mix for one of the for a playoff place, certainly. This season, was it ever about going up? I mean, when you look at what Carlos Corberán inherited and what he had to do, and given the players that are out of contract next summer as well, he's had a huge job, hasn't he? Was it ever in the offing? Of course it would be an ambition. They would want to go back to the Premier League. They haven't been there since 2021, but did anyone actually believe that they could get to this position where you could almost say that they're comfortably in that place?
You always think they should be around there, but they've had so many problems off the field with the ownership, which they've now sorted out. They're under American ownership now, and there was a time when it seemed that the future of the club could be in some doubt because they owed money and there was a general uncertainty, and it just shows what a good job Carlos Corberán has done in those circumstances. But you know, West Brom regard themselves maybe a bit like Leicester as a Premier League team in waiting. They've had their time at the highest level. It's their longest spell outside the top flight now since 2002, but I think now they are in a position to push on, and if they don't do it this season, I think they'll believe they should be really in the sort of position that maybe Ipswich, Leicester and Leeds are in maybe in 12 months' time.
He's not had a huge amount of help. I mean, he's done this with the backdrop of the troubled ownership at West Brom and some of the supporters being extremely annoyed at that fact. And you look at the players that they bring in, the likes of Viam and the likes of Adam Reach, you know, experienced championship players, and this isn't a young squad either that Corberán's got. But what he's been able to do is mould with the experience of those players to become a really difficult team to play against. And that's why today's fixture is so difficult for Leicester, even though it's at home. And Leicester are going to have to be at their best. If they want to win this game, they're going to have to be absolutely at their best against such an organised team in West Brom.
Yeah, absolutely. This is by no means an easy feat, although Leicester City have a great record at home. By no means an easy feat. The teams are heading out and they are taking their places across that Sky Bet Championship hoarding. That's why the decibels have gone up a few notches here at the King Power, as well as everyone is ready for kickoff here. Does anyone want to be in the Premier League? They absolutely do. Leicester could well put themselves right back in contention, and with that game in hand, they could believe they're in the driving seat ahead of Ipswich and Leeds. Home is where the heart is for the Foxes. They've won 15 of their last 20 at the King Power. And they have 3 more here before the season is up, starting with West Brom this afternoon. But the Baggies, they may have won just 2 in their last 10 away from home. But they only suffered their first defeat last week after a 10-match unbeaten run, while the Foxes went through a considerable wobble. You wonder, can they rediscover their bite, or will the visitors have a big say on their journey to automatic promotion? It is the Sky Bet Championship, which means that nothing is guaranteed. Really, really looking forward to this one. The season is at its peak, and every single second will count. So as the players take their place on the pitch and the Fox mascot makes his way off the pitch, I'm going to hand you over to our commentary team, the former Norwich, West Ham and England striker Dean Ashton. But first, our match commentator today, Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Reshman. Good afternoon once again. And it's remarkable that Leicester have slumped so badly, but can still get to 100 points and could be promoted by Tuesday night. But undoubtedly, there are nerves today before this game, because West Brom are dangerous, and with the playoffs virtually assured, they have less pressure on them for now. A reminder of the teams again: 3 changes for Leicester. Ricardo Pereira, James Justin and Patson Daka drop out. The players who come in: Connor Cody, only his second start since Boxing Day, Hamza Chowdhury and Jamie Vardy. It's Hermansen in goal, Cody joining Fass and Vestergaard at the back, with Chowdhury playing on the right-hand side, Winks and Ndidi holding in midfield, Fatawu, Dewsbury Hall and Mavididi behind Vardy in attack. More selection problems up front for Carlos Corberan. Brandon Thomas Asante suspended following his red card against Sunderland last week, so Jed Wallace comes back to captain the side as the false 9. Nathaniel Chalabar and Tom Fellows also drop out of midfield. Okay Yakuzlu and Jan Mvia come in. So it's Palmer in goal, Furlong, Barkley, Kipra and Townsend the back 4. It will be Yakuzlu, Mvia and Mowat in a midfield 3 behind Johnston, Wallace and Diangana in attack. And Josh Madger is on the bench for West Brom. His only goal came against Leicester, but he's only played 7 minutes since December due to injury. Bright sunshine here at the King Power Stadium, but it's chillier than it looks. And this really is the sort of game that neutrals relish at the end of the season. So much on the line for both teams. Leicester City could be promoted by Tuesday night, but there is so much hard work for them to accomplish in the meantime. And it's West Brom who get the football weekend off and underway here on the Talksport network at the King Power Stadium in their blue and white stripes, attacking the goal away to our right in the first half. Leicester in their home strip of all blue, as Mowat plays it wide to the far side, the West Brom left, and Townsend. A poor ball in field is cut out by Chowdhury, who has the role today of playing as a right back and also trying to get forward and support the midfield. So it's a difficult role for him. And of course, Connor Cody in behind him, Dean Ashton, and it's a big responsibility for a player who's spent more time behind the microphone this season.
Yeah, he has, and look, he's got the experience to handle these sort of situations. He's, from what we hear, an incredible professional, and he'll relish this, I think, an opportunity coming towards the business end of the season when I think his organisation could be key as well. Just a point that Wout Faes is playing as the left-hand side, left back, left centre-back, depending on whether they're in and out of possession. I think that probably is key because he has got that extra bit of pace 1v1 against players that Vestergaard maybe hasn't. And also, Yukuzlu looks like he's dropped into possibly a back three when Leicester have the ball, and then can push into midfield and tighten his grip on Dewsbury Hall whenever needed.
90 seconds gone here at the King Power Stadium. 0-0. They're also underway over on Talksport 2. The UEFA Women's Champions League, as it's given away by Leicester inside the penalty area, and the shot swirled in by Yukuzlu over the top, but it was a real opportunity, and already grumbles of discontent from the Leicester fans behind that goal.
Yeah, well, they will target the way that Leicester play out. It's actually Dewsbury Hall that's slack with his decision making and pass out from the back, and it then falls to Yukuzlu, who skims, I think, just maybe the top of the crossbar. It's a great opportunity for Yukuzlu. Really, they should be 1-0 ahead.
Now Dewsbury Hall, Barcelona against Chelsea, the UEFA Women's Champions League underway over on Talksport 2 as Dewsbury Hall plays it in towards Vardy, and now Ndidi on the edge of the penalty area, looks to feed it further wide to Fatawu, but it's cut out by Townsend, and Yukuzlu will bring it forward now on the far side for West Brom, finding Johnston. What a signing he's been, on loan from Celtic in the transfer window. He crumples under the challenge of Hamza Chowdhury, but Thomas Bramwell, the referee, not interested.
No, it was a great ball into Jamie Vardy. Lovely little touch into Ndidi. And that pass out towards Fatu wasn't a difficult one. Townsend spotted it, but really Ndidi needs to make sure that gets to his wide player to give him a chance to get the strike away. But West Brom very much looking to bank in with 5 and then 4 in front, with just Jed Wallace ahead of those. And this will surely be a pattern of the game.
Early goal on the final day of the National League. 12:15 kickoffs. One relegation place to sort out at the bottom, and one of the teams in danger, Wealdstone, are a goal down to Oldham, and Bromley also lead Gateshead by a 0-0. Two teams who are heading for the playoffs. The situation at the start of play: Wealdstone, York and Ebbsfleet, all 2 points clear of Boreham Wood in the final relegation place. Woking are a point clear. Ebbsfleet travel to Boreham Wood, and that could be one of the key games of the day, but Wealdstone will be nervous in the early stages. 3.5 minutes played here. 0-0. And we'll be off to Hampden Park shortly, but there's a free kick for Leicester here. High towards the far post. Wout Faes heads it back into the penalty area, but it's only into the path of Dejan Garner. And he can bring the ball away for West Brom on this near side. Cuts in field beyond Ndidi, then runs into Ndidi. And Mavididi will pick the ball up again for Leicester. He will try and bring it forward, but he runs into traffic once again. And Onvia will play it wide to this near side. And Dejan Garner down the West Brom right-hand side. And back in field again to Jan Onvia, who spreads it wide towards the left, and Townsend. And West Brom here looking to build, but they have Jed Wallace in the central striking position, so Johnston goes himself, skips away from a couple of challengers, back to Onvia, 25 yards from goal. And now Yukuzlu finding Dejan Garner on the edge of the penalty area. He's closed down, and Leicester will clear. An early goal in the Scottish Cup semi-final at Hampden. Here's Talksport's David Tanner.
2 minutes gone. It's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 0. Bojan Miovski scores his 24th goal of the season. He crept in behind the centre-backs and cracked the ball in off Joe Hart. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 0.
Thank you, David. Still goalless as well in Barcelona in the Women's Champions League semi-final first leg. And you can follow that game over on Talksport 2 with Charlotte Richardson and Jenna Scalacci. And here on Talksport, 5 minutes played, Leicester 0, West Brom 0. The situation at the top of the table: Ipswich, who don't play today, played 43, 89 points. Leicester, 42 games played at the start of this match, 88 points. Leeds, 43 games, 87 points. They're at Middlesbrough live on Talksport 2 on Monday. And Southampton away to Cardiff today, 42 games played, 84 points. They are back in the mix after seemingly falling away, as Jed Wallace now falls away under the challenge of Hamza Chowdhury after a clever turn on the halfway line, and it will be a free kick for West Brom, and they've started this game well.
They have, and they'll look to pounce as soon as Leicester give the ball away or it's intercepted. It's into Dejan Garner's feet, and he can whiz away and combine with Jed Wallace, who did well there. He was clever, really. He just stuck his leg across towards Chowdhury, who couldn't get out of the way. and just won the free kick. But look, they're not going to make it easy. They don't want to leave that space for Vardy, so when they need to, they'll sit deep, they'll make it difficult, don't give the Leicester City's top players space.
And Leicester won the game back in December at the Hawthorns. Josh Madger equalised in the last minute, and then Harry Winks scored the winner in added time as West Brom pushed up, looking to win the game, attacking a corner. As they win another free kick just inside their own half now. A foul on Grady Diangana. Yanam Veer was shaping to take it. Only his second start for West Brom. Player of immense experience. Carl Bartlett plays it high to the far side. Townsend looking to leap with Fatawu, and Townsend has stayed down, and because it's a head injury, the referee will stop play.
Yeah, and rightly so. He's gone up to win the ball there, Townsend. I think he's won it on the far side, and might have just followed through into the back of the defender's head, and the referee has no option but to stop the game at that moment.
Don't forget, Game Day Live following us at 2:30 with Adrian Durham. All the goals as they go in, including Luton against Brentford and Cardiff against Southampton. Sheffield United against Burnley is our commentary on Talksport 2 at 3 with Ian Danta and Perry Groves. And I'm sure Burnley fans travelling to Bramwell Lane today will be remembering Leighton James, one of their great players, also a great former Welsh international who died yesterday at the age of 71. Also gave great service to Swansea City and Derby County, and was part of a very good Wales team in the 1970s, and he will be remembered by his former clubs and his country today. As Hermansen looks to play the ball out again, wide to this near side, and Harry Winks, one of the players signed from the Premier League to try and help Leicester City get back there, but only 3 wins in their last 10 games. And before that run, they were 12 points clear of second place and 14 points clear of third, as Vardy looks to fasten onto a ball played forward by Dewsbury Hall, but his first touch was heavy as he got the ball caught under his feet, and it bobbles behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think actually this is Dewsbury Hall's fault slightly, because Jamie Vardy was looking to make the run and not really attentive to that early pass from Dewsbury Hall, who played it in towards his feet and he wasn't ready for it, and it just got away from him. But that's the threat. That's the threat for West Brom. If they do give the ball away themselves, actually Leicester will look much better then on the counter-attack with Jamie Vardy up the top and Dewsbury Hall trying to feed.
Early stages in the Women's Super League as well today. Bristol City 0, Liverpool 0. Bristol City running out of games at the bottom of the table. And it's also goalless as well in the match in League 2 between Crewe and Wrexham. Wrexham are up and Crewe will be in the playoffs. The issues that could be decided today: Derby could go up in League 1, but that depends on what other teams around them do. Bolton and Peterborough, and Port Vale and Fleetwood could go down from League 1 today, and Sutton could also go out of the Football League if results go against them, as Leicester play it forward again on this near side, looking for Mavididi, but he is flagged offside. And Mavididi really is a case in point when you look at how Leicester's form has dropped off. 13 goals and 5 assists this season, but 5 goals and 1 assist since New Year's Day.
Well, because teams have earmarked him as a real threat, and so they've started to double up over on this side for Mavididi, and also because they've dropped deep, there maybe isn't that space to have those 1v1 situations. And that's the thing, you know, teams aren't going to make it easy for you. They're not going to say, I'll tell you what, we'll give you the space to be the best player you can be. They're there to nullify you. They're there to ruin the game for you, and you've got to find the answers. Now, I don't see him particularly very often drift inside and really sort of bounce off the centre forward. He very much keeps his width, which he might be told to by the manager, but that's maybe where as a player you take something on yourself to just try and change things and give the defender something to think about.
10 minutes played, 0-0 here at the King Power Stadium on Game Day on Talksport in the Championship on this Saturday lunchtime for a big game. 2 big clubs chasing the Premier League dream as Diangana comes forward here for West Brom. Wide to Furlong on the right, great ball into the area just beyond Wallace at the near post, and it's claimed by Hermansen.
Terrific run from Wallace, he just couldn't quite stretch to get there. Furlong looked to just peel this in behind Vestergaard, who I don't think particularly saw Wallace, and Cody wasn't on the cover. Wallace couldn't quite stretch to get it, but West Brom have looked a threat already on the break.
And West Brom's 10-match unbeaten run was ended by Sunderland last week at the Hawthorns, but they've not lost away from home since the 20th of January at Norwich. 7 games unbeaten, currently 5th in the table, 7 points clear of Hull, who are just outside the playoff places. Hull do have a game in hand, but West Brom, with a trip to Hillsborough next week and a home game with Preston to come, should be okay. They will be in the playoffs, it seems. Whatever happens here today, as Bartley wins it back to find Diangana. Vardy, though, working hard to lunge in and make the challenge on the halfway line for Leicester. Now Wout Faes with that shock of hair flailing behind him. Wide to Dewsbury Hall on this near side. Infield to Winks again, and once again Leicester City very deliberate in possession. That collective lack of pace often an issue for them as they slow play down. They've got the technical quality they believe will pick apart opposition, but West Brom with 17 clean sheets are a pretty tough nut to crack, aren't they?
Oh, they are. They'll shuffle across. They all know their roles defensively, and it's down to Leicester to figure a way to get through, and that might be at times to play the longer pass over the top, try and drop the defence earlier to give a bit more space to your midfield players. It's about figuring it out, and it's not always the manager. I go back to saying, as players, you've got to be intelligent enough to think, well, this is how they're set up. How's the best way we can go about cutting through them? Not just standing there expecting it to happen.
Now Ndidi, challenged by Kipre. And it's back to Connor Cody. Looks for the high diagonal ball forward. Dewsbury Hall, though, just slipping as he leapt for it. And it's headed away by Yakuzlu, who, as Dean said, is dropping in as a third central defender at times, as Wallace now sprints away on this near side from Vestergaard into the penalty area down the right. Diangana in support, but it's deeper back towards Johnston. Right foot shot from him, cleared off the line brilliantly by Hamza Chowdhury. Johnston must have thought he'd scored there, but it's Chowdhury to the rescue for Leicester City as West Brom come forward again now with Mvia. Now finding Yakuzlu, short to Diangana, back towards Yakuzlu again. West Brom at walking pace, heading towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's further wide towards the far side, but that was such a great opportunity there for West Bromwich Albion.
Oh, they just took advantage of Vestergaard being out of position. Get the anti-freeze out. He's still frozen on this edge. He just got bypassed by Wallace, who was there, and you know he's going to pick out the right pass. He does to Johnson. He takes a great first touch, and fair play to Hamza Chowdhury. He was properly set on the line. He knew that that was his job. If it was going to go past the goalkeeper, he was ready for it. He made a great lunging stretch to keep it out.
Johnston again. Oh, brilliant run into the penalty area, and this time the shot is blocked by the legs of Hermansen. What a goal that would have been from Mikey Johnston. He slalomed through the Leicester defence there like an Olympic skier. Now the cross into the penalty area is deflected behind it. It's a corner.
Oh, it just lacked the finish, didn't it? The run was terrific. Close control, manipulation of his body, sidestepping defenders into a position to shoot, and then he just hit it right at the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper makes a great save with his feet, as he should do, but he has to get that either side of the goalkeeper to make it more difficult. It just lacked the finish.
Mikey Johnston with 7 goals in 15 appearances on loan from Celtic. He could be the X factor to take West Brom into the Premier League.
Yeah, he's been a terrific signing, hasn't he? Something they haven't really had, actually.
Traditional jinking winger. Corner kick for West Brom in towards the near post. Poor delivery though, swept away by Mavididi, and it's kept alive on the far side, but in the end the flag would have been raised for offside, so Leicester get the ball back rather cheaply.
You can genuinely sense the edginess, can't you, inside the stadium when they see that they've not been great in recent games, and then West Brom have looked to danger and there's chances being created, and they're getting a bit stuck, Leicester, in trying to play out themselves. Again, they have got reasonable pace up front. Running behind
What's what Vardy's made a career of.
Well, but keep doing it to start with, and then you can change the position and start to come short. But to start with, look, that space that we can see for all of them to run in behind, and they're not making those runs. They just stood there.
Now Fass with the high ball forward, and Vardy tries to loop a header towards goal on the run, 12 yards out. It's high over the top, but really, with that sort of service, he couldn't do anything else.
That was better, though, from Jamie Vardy. He just waited for Yukuzlu just to step out of position and then peeled his run in behind. It would have been difficult to take it, almost cushion it on his head, and probably felt the better option was to try and loop the header. Got it wrong. But that's better. That's what they need to do, is to test that back line if they're going to hold it.
16 minutes played, 0-0. You're listening to Leicester against West Brom in the EFL Championship, live on Talksport with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. As we have bright sunshine once again here at the King Power Stadium, despite some rather heavy looking grey clouds overhead. Could be a day of sunshine and showers, as Wallace plays it wide to the far side for West Brom. Townsend into the path of Johnston inside the penalty area. Right foot shot from him, just over the top, but they can't live with Mikey Johnston at the minute.
Again, terrific from Johnson, but brilliant also from Townsend. Fatawu sleeping on that far side. He's got to realise he's got a defensive job to do. He doesn't. He reacts too late. Townsend plays it into Johnston, who gets inside the penalty area, and Chowdhury doesn't want to engage. He just half turns his back on the forward player, and he flashes it up and over the top. It's another poor finish, I have to say, from Johnson. That's a good chance.
Well, they could be 2-0 up here, West Brom, with only 17 minutes played. Now Vardy for Leicester, wide to Fatawu on the far side. Vardy makes the dart into the penalty area. Fatawu goes for goal, though, but it hits the considerable presence of Cedric Kipra on the edge of the penalty area, and Albion are able to clear. All of their fans on their feet, grouped around the corner flag on the far side, and they'll be happy with what they're seeing at the moment, because they're in control of this game.
No, they'll be disappointed, though, that the team aren't ahead. They've created a couple of great chances already in this game. They've looked comfortable at the back also.
And don't forget, join Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoy this Monday morning, 6 o'clock on Talksport. And if you fancy something different at that time in the morning, check out Chris Evans and The Breakfast Show, weekdays 6:30 on Virgin Radio. As Mavididi plays the cross into the penalty area, which is lifted away. And you can download the Talksport app to listen to all of our stations. It's also a good day to do that, with commentaries going on at the moment, including the Women's Champions League semi-final first leg between Barcelona and Chelsea. That's currently live over on Talksport 2, and following that, Sheffield United against Burnley at 3. We'll have Game Day Live with Adrian Durham here, all the goals as they go in, and we'll also bring you reaction to this game. Enzo Maresca, the Leicester coach, up against his first professional club, West Bromwich Albion. He was there as a teenager towards the end of the 1990s, when Albion were a side struggling at the bottom of the Championship. As Winks plays it wide to this near side, and Fass, the Belgian international, finding Vestergaard. And of course, Leicester were able to retain a number of players who dropped out of the Premier League at the end of last season, and they supplemented them with decent looking signings, which said so much about their brilliant start to the season. They currently have 28 wins, and no team has failed to get promotion in the last 30 years with that total. As Vardy now gathers the ball inside the penalty area, beats the offside trap down the right hand side. The cross low in, though, is blocked by Kipre, and it will be a corner to Leicester with 20 minutes played on Talksport, and it's 0-0.
Yeah, good arcing run from Jamie Vardy there, off the back of Kipre, who couldn't see him, and Bartley couldn't stay with his pace. Kipre had to get back and slide in as Vardy just tried to pull it back for a teammate, but that wasn't difficult. West Brom are keeping a high line. Just time your run and flick it over the top.
Corner kick on the far side, whipped in towards the near post, headed away by Townsend, controlled by Winks out on the right, further wide towards Dewsbury Hall. His ball headed away by Mowat at the near post. But Leicester will regain possession. Dewsbury Hall once again all the way back to Chowdhury on the halfway line, who stands there, arms up, almost in apology, maybe looking for a lack of movement ahead of him, or recognising a lack of movement.
Oh, I hated that. Absolutely hated it. Defenders stood there on the ball with their arms up as if, come on. I used to hate it.
Well, maybe they were trying to encourage you to move it.
Yeah, touche.
21 minutes played, 0-0. But Leicester gradually growing into this game after a rather uncertain start. Ipswich not playing today. They were due to play Coventry, who are in the FA Cup semi-final tomorrow, live on Talksport. As Mabadidi comes forward now, back towards Boutfast. The high cross curled in, flicked on by Vardy, brilliant save, but turned in by Walford and Ndidi, and Leicester have the goal they were looking for. Vardy deserves so much credit, but it was Ndidi poaching on the goal line to apply the finish, and that's a crucial goal for Leicester on the road to the Premier League. They lead West Brom 1-0.
Well. Boutfast, who knew? Secretly Dennis Irwin, he pulls it onto his right foot. The delivery is so good, so difficult to defend, arcing in towards the 6-yard box. Jamie Vardy's alert, he's just waiting for that little gap between the two centre-backs. He gets in between them, lovely little flicked header, and this is where Ndidi's been good, I think, all season, timing his runs into the box, whether that's to assist or to try and score, and he just gets there. All he has to be is there. It's a great save from Palmer down to his left-hand side, but Ndidi's there just to smash it into the roof of the net. But it was all about that delivery from Boutfast.
For listeners under the age of 50, Dennis Irwin used to play for Manchester United. No, but it was that sort of crossing. There's also been a goal at Hampden Park, crucially in the semi-final of the Scottish Cup. Here's David Tanner.
We're halfway through the first half at Hampden, and it's now Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1. Nicholas Kuhn gets the goal. Kyogo dispossessed defender Angus MacDonald. The shot was blocked, and Kuhn smashed it home. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Thanks, David. Free kick here for Leicester in a good area. Mvia chopping down Dewsbury Hall, and it's a yellow card for Jan Mvia.
No complaints. If you're going to slide in that manner and not get the ball, you will get a yellow card, and it just shows, doesn't it? Suddenly the pressure just releases from the stadium, from the players, and the game can look very, very different.
Free kick for Leicester, which Dewsbury Hall is over, and all of the nerves have melted away for now around the King Power Stadium. 23 minutes played, Leicester a goal up. Dewsbury Hall flights it high towards the far post, over everybody, and it's a goal kick. So at the top of the table at the moment, Leicester have 91 points. Ipswich have 89. They're not playing today. Leeds have 87. Of course, Leeds in action on Monday night, and that's a big game over on Talksport 2 with Joe Shannon and Lucy Ward. If Leeds lost that, then Leicester could go up on Tuesday if they beat Southampton, if they win this game today. So plenty of ifs and maybes, and we've got that game, Leicester against Southampton, live on Talksport 2 on Tuesday, along with Arsenal against Chelsea from the Premier League on Talksport. And of course, coming up later on here on Talksport, 5:15, Chelsea against Manchester City, the first FA Cup semi-final, followed by Wolves against Arsenal in the Premier League, assuming that extra time doesn't intervene at Wembley. Masfas comes forward now, wide towards Mabadidi on this near side for Leicester down the left. A low ball pulled in, but it's blocked by Yakuzlu at the near post, and he's got time to bring the ball down, try and play the ball out, finds Furlong. He hammers the ball though into the body of Mabadidi. Dewsbury Hall then goes down under the challenge of Yakuzlu, and it's a free kick, much better than a corner here for Leicester on this near side there left.
Yeah, lifted intensity, lifted the quality of their play. Leicester from West Brom starting to dive in, and Yakuzlu just making the mistake that Mvia did, which is to think that you can get there ahead of Dewsbury Hall, and he's slightly quicker than you think, Dewsbury Hall. He's just got his toe there first.
And Leicester have won 24, drawn 3, and lost 2 of their games in the Championship this season when they've scored first. Free kick here. Dewsbury Hall is over it on this near side. And he's played it short towards the edge of the penalty area, and it was fired in with plenty of power from Fatawu from the edge of the D, but high over the top.
Clever free kick from Leicester and Dewsbury Hall, faking to just clip that in and then pulling it back to the edge of the box. And I'm pretty sure the bloke 3 rows from the back wasn't expecting to catch a ball today from a shot.
In the key games at the bottom of the National League at the moment, 12:15 kickoffs. It's Boreham Wood 0, Ebbsfleet 0. Also as well, Wealdstone are a goal down at Oldham, Solihull 0, York 0, and Woking 0, Fylde 0. At the moment, Boreham Wood are the team in danger of relegation to National League South next season. Fass with another raking ball forward, wide towards the far side, looking for the goal scorer Ndidi, and it's bobbled behind in the end for a goal kick. Ndidi scoring his 5th goal of the season, and without any question his most important so far.
And it's interesting there, Jamie Vardy just applauding Wout Faes. He's starting to recognise that space is just constantly there in behind the West Brom defence. They've played that high line. He's started to recognise it. He's getting joy because of it. And they were trying to find Ndidi there, just slightly overhit, but that's been the tactic the last 5 minutes, and it's starting to work.
And 2 big games coming up on the Talksport network tomorrow. 12:30 on Talksport 2, Blackburn against Sheffield Wednesday, and 3:30 here on Talksport, Coventry against Manchester United, live from Wembley, the FA Cup semi-final. What a day it is, what a weekend it is, as Winks plays it wide to the far side, and we're starting here with a massive game at the top of the Championship with Leicester looking to go back on top of the table, leading West Bromwich Albion by a 1-0 with 28 minutes played, but the scoreline not really telling the story. West Brom had 3 really good chances before the opening goal, but Leicester have made the most of theirs so far. As it's back to Hermansen, and he's got the option of playing it short to Vestergaard, but Wallace will quickly close that down, and I think the Leicester crowd are making it very clear to Hermansen that they want it to go long.
But again, every single one of the forward players didn't move. They didn't move a muscle, and it was obvious that the longer ball was on for Hermansen to make. I didn't know whether Jamie Vardy was gesturing to his wide players that it's your job to make that run for the goalkeeper, but none of them moved.
And it's gathered by Alex Palmer, who won't be adding to his 17 clean sheets here today. Short to Mvia, and now wide to Kipre on the far side, the left. Mowat curls a good ball in behind for Johnston, who just for a moment was away from Chowdhury, but Chowdhury's done superbly to win it back and then jab it into the path of Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall goes down. It was a clumsy challenge from Jan Mvia on the halfway line, who's already been booked, but no hint of a second yellow card. But it will be a free kick to Leicester on the halfway line.
Yeah, good bit of defending from Hamza Chowdhury. That is his role, I think, when he's played into midfield, to get back into that defensive position. He's better and more aggressive against Johnston.
Now Wout Faes on this near side. A reminder, Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1 in the Scottish Cup semi-final at Hampden, and it's still goalless over on Talksport 2 between Barcelona and Chelsea in the Women's Champions League semi-final first leg. And if it stays like that, that would be a result for Chelsea. Now Cody, high down the line, looking for Fatawu, but again it's overhit, and it will be a goal kick. But Leicester have been very good here at home, 15 wins and only 4 defeats this season. And it's a good job really, because they've lost the last 3 games away from home without scoring. But it's all about how you finish, and they could yet get a century of points here in the Championship this season, despite all of the recent problems they've had. As Wallace will look to close down Cody, and it's all the way back to Hermansen once again. Only 3 clean sheets in his last 15 games, and he's already made 1 crucial save here, and also being grateful for Hamza Chowdhury popping up on the goal line to block the shot from Mikey Johnston. Now Fatawu again. Coming in field from the right-hand side. Whipped in low, looking for Vardy, and it's sliced behind by Barkley, who knew that Vardy was somewhere in the vicinity, so takes no chances at the expense of a corner.
And I don't think that they can worry that maybe there's a height advantage in there. I think if you get the right delivery, as it showed with the goal, it can be a threat. If you get into those good positions, you've got to put it in. And then you can maybe question any of the players that haven't made it into the penalty area. But it's then a waste to then come back out all the way out to your centre-backs and possibly goalkeeper when there was a possibility to cross.
And Dewsbury Hall will take the corner kick on the far side again. Another in-swinger, deeper this time, looking for Valfast, but taken under no real pressure from Alex Palmer, who quickly bowls the ball out. And here is Johnston, the attacking trio for West Brom, all on the move. Diangana away to the left-hand side. Look for Johnston again, but Diangana shows his disgust with his own pass as it's overhit back towards Hermansen.
And they've just lost that confidence that they were growing at the start of the game. West Brom, it's now a couple of times they've just gifted the ball back to Leicester when they've had a chance to attack, and going that one goal ahead for Leicester, it's then perfect for the way that they play. They can really calm themselves and be really patient with their possession.
Now Chowdhury is popping up in a central area, and it's an interesting Leicester formation which seems fairly fluid defensively. Cody is effectively the right back at the moment, or certainly right-sided.
Also, when West Brom have the ball with the goalkeeper or the centre-back, they're almost in one huge circle with Winks right in the middle. With one of those centre-backs, or whether it's Chowdhury, they can then flip out of position to go and close down, then back into a position.
Now Mavididi will be penalised for shoving over Furlong on this near side. 32 minutes played. A reminder, no issues can be sorted out in the Championship today following Rotherham's relegation, but Derby could go up from League One, Port Vale and Fleetwood could go down to League Two, and Sutton could go out of the Football League. And Game Day Live with Adrian Durham, Alvin Martin, Chris Owellamo and Mickey Gray is the best place to follow all the ups, downs and maybes. It's the final day of the National League season. They'll sort all that out for you, with teams still scrapping for playoff places and looking to avoid relegation. And of course, big games in the Premier League, not least Sheffield United against Burnley, which will be coming up over on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock with Ian Danter and Perry Groves. Now Vestergaard wide to this near side, and Valfast, who comes in field under pressure from Diangana, and he's almost given the ball away to Wallace, and Chowdhury will have to scramble here. He's done well to maintain possession, Chowdhury, and in the end does really well to find the supporting player Connor Cody on the far side, but that was rather unnecessary from Leicester.
It didn't seem like he wanted to go back to the goalkeeper, which was the easier pass.
Strong challenge from Furlong on Mavididi on this near side, but no free kick. Leicester continue with Harry Winks on the halfway line. 34 minutes played here on Talksport. Leicester 1, West Bromwich Albion 0. Leicester going back on top as it stands, 4 points clear of Leeds, who will have 3 games to play, starting with Middlesbrough at the Riverside, live on Talksport 2 on Monday night. And Leicester still have a home game here against Southampton on Talksport 2 on Wednesday night. Then they go to Preston, and they're at home to Blackburn. And Blackburn may still have something on that game, although they seem to be pulling themselves away from danger, helped by that victory at Ellen Road last week. Ndidi unable to gather for Leicester on the edge of the penalty area, and Albion will try and bring the ball clear with 10 minutes to play in the first half. Again, lovely spin and turn on the halfway line from Johnston. He's so confident in confined areas, but this time he's given the ball away, and Winks will bring the ball clear here for Leicester. Wide towards Mavididi again. Back towards Winks. High cross curl towards the far post, looking for Fatawu, but it's over his head and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was slightly overhit from Winks. A good break from Leicester. And Ndidi once again was in the penalty area, similar to the goal. It was just about the delivery from Winks wasn't quite good enough. but they're very much patterns of play, Leicester. I've watched now Mabadidi and Fatawu for just over 35 minutes, and they do not make that run from the wing inside the fullback, in behind. They haven't made it once as yet. They very much have to be wide, I assume, from what the manager wants from them, to give the space to Dewsbury Hall and Ndidi.
And it's taken something different. Valfast cutting in field to deliver a cross, which produced the goal.
But they've got the joy from that ball over the top. But it's only been Jamie Vardy that's had that, when actually there's plenty of space and plenty of room for those wide players to make those runs. I can only assume it's something that the manager doesn't want. He wants them nice and wide.
We have all of the Premier League title contenders live on Talksport this week. Arsenal against Chelsea on Tuesday, the Merseyside derby, Liverpool at Goodison Park on Wednesday, and Brighton against Manchester City on Thursday. All those games live and exclusive to national radio on Talksport. As Albion come forward again now, wide towards Townsend on the far side, back to the danger man Mikey Johnston. Johnston again checks back away from Chowdhury, finding Townsend, who maybe thought about the deep cross, but it's a difficult one to execute. So here is Mowat. Now Mvia. And Mowat again. Yakuzlu in the central area. Furlong in space on this near side down the right. But everything for West Brom at the moment is coming down the left, and Johnston. And he's on the ball again, but Leicester defensively have been given time here to shuffle across until the high ball is played forward by Kipre, looking for Furlong, and he was beyond Valfast, but Furlong unable to make contact at the far post, and it's a goal kick.
Just switched off for a fraction there, Valfast. Furlong looking to get in behind the Leicester defender and just misjudged the flight of the ball. He just slipped over as it came near him. But since the goal, Leicester have looked very, very comfortable in possession, not created particularly any chances, but been very comfortable since the goal, having looked very nervy to start with in this game.
Now Dewsbury Hall, strong play from him to ride the challenge of Furlong on this near side, the left, cuts it back towards the edge of the penalty area, and Mabadidi winks, scored the winning goal at the Hawthorns, finding Mabadidi, who scored here today, and then Ndidi with the shot, which was blocked on the edge of the penalty area, and it spins away and it will be cleared for a throw into Leicester on the far side.
Yeah, good play though to isolate Ndidi with space to shoot, and decent block.
Crewe 0, Wrexham 1 in League 2. Ollie Palmer with the opening goal. Both those teams could be meeting in League 1 next season, although Crewe will have to go through the playoffs. Now Vestergaard back towards Fass again. Fass with the ball forward, seeking out Dewsbury Hall, but it's cut out by Yakuzlu, and Mvia has the opportunity to slide in Wallace, and he's found him with the help of a deflection. And now Johnston in a central area for West Brom, already up towards the edge of the penalty area, clattered into by Chowdhury right on the edge of the box, and it will be a free kick here for West Brom in a very good area.
Yeah, he's not enjoyed when he's been fronted up, has he? Hamza Chowdhury with Johnston. He's excellent at just changing direction and flicking the ball away. Ultimately, he ran into Chowdhury, but it was just the movement of the ball from Johnston. Chowdhury once again unable to get out of the way.
A big goal in the National League just before half-time. Woking 1, Fylde 0. I wonder why Declan McCarthy, our producer, suddenly leapt out of his seat. As it stands at the moment, Boreham Wood will join Kidderminster, Dorking and Oxford City in being relegated from the National League this season. But West Brom with a free kick here. 5 minutes to play in the first half in the Sky Bet Championship on the home of the EFL Talksport. Wallace and Mowat are over this, and Leicester have pulled every single blue shirt back behind the ball to defend. Johnston is also having a conversation with the committee over this free kick, and it was Johnston who won it. Mowat walks away, so it looks as though it will be Jed Wallace who will try and float this one right-footed, although Mowat could hit it with the left. West Brom have had a long look at this free kick. And it's Wallace who curls it low into the wall. Wallace is then challenged on the edge of the penalty area, fires in the rebound, but it's behind for a goal kick.
Oh, that was horrible. I mean, the first free kick was at knee level, came back to him, looked to strike it then on the volley, and then just drags it horribly, horribly wide. Jed Wallace, we know he's got so much more quality than that. Maybe just it can be too close to get it up and over a wall of that size. You have to be pretty special.
As Leicester, from the goal kick, look to play out again. And then Hermansen eventually hits it high, but the ball actually seems to get caught in the wind as it's flicked on by Fatawu, and then Mavididi is flagged offside, having come back from an offside position to challenge for the ball, and it will be a free kick here for West Brom, who have had their moments in the first half, but Leicester lead by a goal to nil with 4 minutes to play here on Talksport in the Championship, as Diangana, almost wrestled to the ground by Vestergaard, managed to extricate himself from that challenge, but players brought back for the free kick.
Yeah, Diangana just controlling that beautifully with the sole of his boot, and just manoeuvred Vestergaard out of the way, who'd committed himself to the interception. They're ending the half well, West Brom.
But they're a goal down. But here is Johnston looking to tease Chowdhury again, but Chowdhury stands firm, intercepts, but plays it straight out on the far side, and it will be a throw-in for West Bromwich Albion, who started this game 7 points clear of Hull, having played a game more in the playoff places. I'm sure they'd be keen to just try and take care of business today, but they do look certain to have a home leg first in the semi-finals, which can go one of two ways. I'm sure any team going to Carrow Road for the first leg of a playoff wouldn't fancy it, considering their home record.
No, and it's going to be, and that's why still results.
Here is Yakuzlu inside the penalty area, challenged by Vardy, and the referee has given a penalty. Well, Yakuzlu had so long to consider the high dropping ball, but he miscontrolled inside the penalty area. Vardy was in like a flash, challenged by Yakuzlu, and it's a penalty to Leicester.
He is the master at this, Jamie Vardy. He is the master of a defender thinking he has time when the ball is dropping in behind, and they haven't. And he knows how to get his body into the way to win penalties, and he does exactly that. He just waits for Yakuzlu to dawdle a fraction, steps across him, gets a touch on the ball, and Yakuzlu just brings him down. It's an easy decision for the referee. He makes the right one too, and that is Jamie Vardy all over.
Leicester have scored all 12 of their penalties in all competitions this season, and Jamie Vardy will step up and take this one a minute before half-time. What a crucial moment in the game. Vardy, right-footed, he's hit the post, and Leicester's run of penalty success comes to an end, and there is the reprieve for West Bromwich Albion. It is still 1-0.
Oh, what a let-off for West Brom. And Jamie Vardy struck it well, just pulled it too much, right onto the base of the post. That is one of the worst feelings ever, is missing a penalty. I know how he feels. Now
Diangana has cleaned out fast, and it will be a free kick for Leicester, and we're watching on the monitor here in the commentary position. And it's Palmer guessed right.
He did, and that can be the issue. As a player, as you walk up to take the penalty, you can't help but see the goalkeeper in your peripheral vision, and you can just sense when he's gone the right way. You give it a little bit extra. I missed one exactly the same where I pulled it wide of the post, and because the goalkeeper went that way, I tried to give it a bit extra.
2 minutes of added time as a cross is played in from the right-hand side for Leicester, but West Brom will clear, and then Wallace has been caught on the half-turn by Chowdhury, and it will be a free kick for West Brom midway inside their own half. A minimum of 2 more minutes added time. Did you ever take a penalty like Bernardo Silva the other night?
No, I didn't, but luckily the goalkeeper didn't have the information that Lunin certainly had.
Now Wallace chasing a high ball forward for West Brom. They're still a goal down, but heading into half-time now, they'll have a bit more of a spring in their step.
Yeah, absolutely. To have got away with that. Jamie Vardy, I'm sure, plenty of experience. He'll dust himself off. It won't stop him getting into good positions, but he'll know how important that miss could prove to be.
Well, he loves a goal against West Brom, but not today so far, although he was heavily involved in the opening goal, eventually bundled in by Wilfred Ndidi. Manson goes long, and Vardy's beaten to it in the air by Bartley. Winks then goes down, caught by Wallace, and it will be a free kick for Leicester with 40 seconds of added time to play.
I mean, obviously it's not today because Alex Palmer's in his black goalkeeping strip, but it's why I would always encourage goalkeepers to wear as bright as possible, because that's what you then sense as a striker when you've got your head slightly down towards the ball. The flash of colour, usually just to try and focus the mind of the striker or put them off, can always make a difference.
Well, that's why back in the day a former Leicester goalkeeper, Peter Shilton, experimented with all white.
Yes.
As the free kick comes to nothing, it was flicked on by Dewsbury Hall, and it's gone behind for a goal kick, and that's half time. Fascinating 45 minutes. West Brom started well, and they had their chances. Mikey Johnston having a shot cleared off the line by Hamza Chowdhury, and also forcing an excellent save from Mads Hermansson, but Leicester taking the lead. Boutfast with the cross, Vardy's glancing header, which was blocked by Alex Palmer but forced in by Wilfred Ndidi. But on the stroke of half-time, Jamie Vardy winning a penalty but then hitting the post from the spot. Will that miss come back to haunt Leicester? Half-time, Leicester City 1, West Bromwich Albion 0.
Nigel Adderley, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, the players are heading off. Some of the fans are heading over to get their half-time snacks. What will both managers be thinking at half-time, Dean Ashton? Because I think if you're West Brom, surely you'll be thinking we could have been 3-0 up in this.
Well, he'll be thinking we should have taken advantage when there was a nervousness in the stadium and with the Leicester defence, and they were opened up a couple of times on the break. And you know, in these sort of games, you always feel, especially away from home, you've got to try and take those opportunities. They'll be buoyed by that, of course, that they were able to create them. But disappointing not to have taken the lead at that moment, and then it allowed Leicester just to calm things down and get themselves into the game before getting that goal.
How costly will that penalty miss be?
It could be, because as long as it remains 1-0, of course, West Brom will feel like they've got a great chance, and it'll become even more edgy if they don't get that second goal. Whereas if Jamie Vardy puts that away, settles everything down, you've got that cushion, you can come out second half very, very different. And it's just about trying to forget it. It's very difficult for Vardy and for the team. But again, positive end to the second half for Leicester. I thought they controlled things after the goal. Very, very different side to before it. And we saw the best of them after that. Yeah,
certainly did. What will we see? Which side will we see in the second half? And will West Brom come back to bite again? That is coming up after this. Stay with us.
EFL Live on Talksport with McDonald's. Fancy a Big Mac for the big match? Order McDelivery now on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points delivered too. 18 plus. Rewards account required. Participating restaurants. Subject to availability. Delivery fees and terms apply.
You may not know that you have the power to compare great loan deals with Compares the Market.
Oh, I've got one. Did you know there's no word that rhymes with wolf?
Carl, we're talking about loans.
But it's another thing people may not know.
Meerkat your loan with the power to compare. We'll check your eligibility without it affecting your credit score, with a range of deals available. Find a loan that's right for you.
Move, Zulf. Oh, wolf! Oh, no, that's a word.
Compare the Market Limited acts as a credit broker, not a lender. Credit is subject to status, UK residents and 18 plus only.
News fresh in! Prices on Aldi's Super 6 fresh fruit and veg this week are way down. Starting with radishes, just 29p. Celery sticks, green beans and British mini apples, only 69p each. Plus San Marzano tomatoes and blueberries, just 99p each. In store now. That's Aldi prices, sliced, chopped and diced.
You know, finding your best summer shouldn't be so hard. Scan your next Coca-Cola Zero Sugar and play for a chance to grab your pass to summer's biggest events, including music festivals, the UEFA Euro 2024 and the Olympic Games Paris 2024. GB 18 plus only. Promotion ends 19th of May. For full T's and C's, visit coke.co.uk/app/summer 2024.
Stimulate your senses with a heavy-duty payload of thrilling, live Premier League football. Game day exclusive.
On Talksport.
Hello, welcome back. We are halfway through this huge championship game at the King Power Stadium, where Leicester City are a goal up against West Brom. Leicester, of course, able to potentially secure automatic promotion to the Premier League if they can get a victory today, and if results go their way before and after their game to Southampton midweek as well. They're on the brink. West Brom, of course, looking for a playoff place as well, so plenty to play for in the next 45 minutes or so. We're going to continue now, though, to look ahead to today's action with Super 6.
The Talksport Match Predictor with Super 6. Play for free. Predict 6 correct scores for the chance to win £250,000. Get your entries in by 3 p.m. today with Super 6. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply.
Okay, you all know the score by now, don't you? Each week we'll be discussing games that are featured within Super 6. It is a free-to-play football game where you can win huge jackpots through your own knowledge. Simply predict 6 correct scores to win the jackpot. This week it's £250,000, and even if you don't manage to get 6 correct scores, there are more ways to win, with a guaranteed 5k up for grabs every single round if you get the most points, and plenty more. Got Dean Ashton alongside me. We're going to run through the final 3 games on the Super 6 list. We're going to start with one of the 3 o'clock games today in the Premier League, Luton against Brentford.
Goals.
116
of them in the 33 games that Luton have been involved in. And I expect more today. I expect them to get a draw against Brentford, who have definitely improved with their injuries back. So 2-2.
2-2 in that one. Okay, over 300,000 Super 6 players are also predicting a draw in this one, in fact. Okay, huge game at 5:15, of course. It's the first of 2 FA Cup semi-finals live on Talksport this weekend. Manchester City against Chelsea, Pep against Pochettino. No love lost between those two. Cole Palmer facing his old club in a big knockout game. What do you think for that one?
Well, they've had 2 terrific games already this season. I expect it to be the same. I just don't expect Manchester City to be knocked out of 2 competitions in the space of days. I just think when it really is going to matter in this game, City are going to be able to edge it, but very close. 2-1 to Manchester City.
They do turn it on, don't they? Exactly the right point of the season. Massive 87% of Super 6 players, in fact, are predicting the current FA Cup holders, Manchester City, to beat Chelsea and make it through to the FA Cup final once again. We are crossing to Wembley Way in a second, but finally, live and exclusively on Talksport in the Premier League at 7:30, Wolves host Arsenal. Huge game in the context of Arsenal's season, as they could bid to get top of the table again with a win.
And I just think injuries for Wolves is going to be the difference. Cunha's out again, which is a real blow. Ain't Nori's a doubt. Semenyo's out. Just too many injuries, I think, to cope with Arsenal, who will want to respond. So I see Arsenal winning this 2-0.
Well, Arsenal will be looking to get back to their best after that defeat last weekend, and of course being knocked out of the Champions League in midweek as well. Well over 800,000 players are expecting Mikel Arteta's men to beat Wolves tonight at Molineux. Cheers, Dean. That is all thanks to Super 6. And don't forget, Super 6 has set up its very own Talk Sport League. You can sign up on the Super 6 website or app. You can use the code TALKS6, that is TALKS6, where you can also win £100 for topping the league every single round. And remember, get those predictions in by 3 p.m. today. You've got an hour and a half. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply.
The Talksport Match Predictor with Super 6. Play for free. Predict 6 correct scores for the chance to win £250,000. Get your entries in by 3 p.m. today with Super 6. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply.
Now over on Talksport 2 right now, Chelsea women lead Barcelona 1-0 in their Champions League semi-final first leg. Erin Cuthbert with the goal. It's half-time there at the moment. It's also half-time in the Scottish Cup semi-final at Hampden Park in front of Talksport's David Tanner.
And it's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1, a brilliant cup tie in the sunshine, powered by an old-fashioned Hampden roar. It may be 9th in the league versus the leaders, but it's been even so far in the Scottish Cup semi-final. Managerless Aberdeen shocked Celtic by taking a second-minute lead. Bojan Miovski cracked home from the edge of the box, the ball deflecting in off the boot of Joe Hart. Celtic struggled to control the midfield, and their equaliser came after Aberdeen centre-back Angus MacDonald was caught in possession carelessly by Kyogo. His shot was deflected into the path of Nicholas Kuhn, and the German scored a vital goal for Brendan Rodgers, who's not lost in 9 previous visits to Hampden Park. At half-time, it's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
David Tanner, thank you very much. So finely poised over there at Hampden Park. We're going to get more on the 3 o'clock games in a second. But first, let's cross to Wembley, where Chelsea, of course, are taking on Manchester City in the first of 2 FA Cup semi-finals live on Talksport this weekend. This one kicks off at 5:15, and Angelina Kelly is on Wembley Way. She's soaking up the atmosphere for us. How's it looking, Angelina?
Yes, I am here at Box Park. Although it's still quite early, it is already getting busy. We've got inflatable bananas, we've got a lot of sky blue absolutely everywhere. They've decorated Box Park to the absolute max, and I am here with a City fan, Craig. Now, the first question, everybody's talking about Real Madrid and if there's going to be a hangover from that game going into this FA Cup semi-final. Jack Grealish has actually rubbished it and said that this could be the perfect game to right your wrongs. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think after the devastating blow in the Champions League, I think City are going to come out ferocious today. I think they have to.
Now, a lot of talk about Cole Palmer as well. Do you think that Pep Guardiola, as amazing as he is, do you think he's made a mistake by selling him?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It would have been advantageous to keep such a young player around so many great players. I think he has the potential to come out and do some damage today, especially against his former club.
Ah dear, thank you very much, Angelina, and the City fan who is, I'm sure he'll be hopeful that they'll do well. Chelsea against Manchester City, of course, is live on Talksport at 5:15 today. But before that, Adrian Durham, as ever, will be taking you around the grounds in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. There are huge games in the EFL and the Premier League, including at Kenilworth Road, where the former West Ham and England defender Alvin Martin is for Talksport right now. You're watching Luton against Brentford. Hi, Alvin, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Freshman. It's an empty ground at the moment, but it's going to be full. Just under 12,000 in at the lowest in the Premier League, isn't it? 11,800. But I'll tell you what, 11,800 is going to make a lot of noise here today.
They really are going to make a lot of noise, as they always do. It's an interesting one for Luton because they find themselves in this position where they could get out of the relegation zone, but because of all the noise around them, they don't know whether it's going to be good enough but come the end of the season. Brentford, of course, trying to pull away as well from the that pack that are sort of stuck in that relegation battle as well. It's an interesting one, this.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if they get a point today, Brentford, I think they're more or less safe. I think they are anyway. But look, I think there are strategic moments in a season when you're left with no alternative but to win a game. And I think that's where Luton are at the moment. You know, they won the last home game here. Obviously, the game at Man City damaged their goal difference, which has hurt them. But today is do or die. You know, and I think they have to come out here. It's not about the performance, because I think the performances for Luton have been fairly consistent all the way through and on a high level. But it's all about the result today. They don't care how they get the 3 points. It's just about getting them.
Do you know, they haven't won back-to-back top-flight fixtures since April 1992, Luton Town. So that would be a big one for them. And as you say, with Brentford as well, a point could be enough to just be able to pull away from that pack. Sheffield United against Burnley. Given the league positions, it doesn't feel like there's a lot in this. Is it more about pride than anything else?
Yeah, I think so. I think, look, if you ask them honestly, do they think, you know, the fans as well, you ask the fans and the players, you know, you've got to be honest and realistic. You know, none of us are fools. You look at the league table at the moment, it's going to take an exceptional set of circumstances for Burnley and Sheffield United to stay up. But Luton are still very much in it. And, you know, and you think, if you'd have said to Luton fans and the Luton manager and players, they're coming into the last 5 games, you're still in with a chance of staying up, they'd have bitten your hand off. And that's where they are. So I think from that point of view, they've got one big thing going for them, is that I think when you get some teams that come into the Premier League and are down in the bottom 3 and are always fighting against survival for the entire season, sometimes in the last 4 or 5 games they've lost the crowd, they've lost the support, the frustration, the defeats have been, you know, hurtful, and you're fragmented as a club. That's not the case, is it, with Luton? The fans are still very much here. And I've been on some of the chat lines. They are totally with their team. Whatever happens today, whatever happens this season, they are totally behind the manager, totally behind the board, and totally behind the players. It's unusual for that to happen.
It really is. They're just really enjoying the ride, as is our very own Faye Carruthers. I'm going to ask you very quickly, because Leicester City are already out here. Your former side, West Ham, do you think they can clinch European a European place this season, given that they've just been knocked out of the Europa League? The Moyes out brigade is loud and proud. What do you make of their chances?
Well, look, it's an outside chance, isn't it? You got some of the other teams are better placed, but look, it's all about what you do from here on in, and it's about brushing yourself down, dusting yourself off, and going again. I'm really happy with our club is at the moment. I think West Ham are in a really strong position. I think there will be a big investment going on in the summer. I think where we are, and the fact that there's a frustration about where we are, says something about how far the club have come.
How far they've come, exactly, and how far David Moyes has taken them, which many people feel that's taken for granted. Do you think he'll be there next season?
Well, look, they made a bad decision in getting rid of David Moyes once before. I don't think they'll make the same mistake. It will be a massive decision for them to make that. And look, sometimes I think you have to be brave enough to stick, rather than hear some of the noises that are going round, that a change is easy to make. But I tell you what, once you've made that change, sometimes you pay the dividends. They did that last time round. I think they'll think very carefully before they do that again.
Decisions. Alvin Martin, thank you very much indeed. Enjoy the incredible atmosphere at Kenilworth Road ahead of that game as Luton Town take on Brentford. Speak to you soon, Alvin. Okay, Alvin has gone, which means we are almost ready to kick off the second half here. Leicester out first. The Baggies have just stepped out and the second half is about to kick off, so I'll hand you back to our commentary team, Dean Ashton. But first, Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Reshman. And there don't look to be any changes for the start of the second half. So the Leicester team again, Hermansen in goal, Cody, Fass and Vestergaard, three central defenders, joined by Chowdhury at the back, Winks and Ndidi in midfield, Fatawu, Dewsbury Hall and Mavididi behind Vardy, who of course missed that penalty just before half time but was involved in the goal scored by Ndidi midway through the half. The Albion team, Palmer in goal, Furlong, Barkley, Kipra and Townsend, Yakuzlu and Villa and Mowat in midfield, Johnston, Wallace and Diangana in attack. And Leicester wearing all blue, defending the goal away to our left in the second half. Albion in their blue and white stripes on what is a slightly blustery, cloudy Saturday lunchtime now in the East Midlands, with Leicester leading by a 1-0, and they're heading back on top of the Championship as it stands. And if results go their way, they could be promoted by Tuesday evening, live on Talksport 2 against Southampton. But plenty of football to play between now and then, as Leicester try and build with Cody on this near side, swings in the cross, Vardy with a header deflected wide, and it will be a corner. Well, Palmer was rooted to the spot there because Vardy's header was going towards one corner. It was then deflected towards another, but just wide.
Terrific ball in from Conor Cody, right on the money for Jamie Vardy. He just misses it. He just skims it off his head. It's going to go way wide before it hits Yakuzlu and goes behind for a corner. That's a chance, and he's missed the header, really, Vardy.
Corner kick here for Leicester, leading by a 1-0. 90 seconds into the second half, in towards the near post. It's clipped away by Wallace, and now Winks transfers it quickly wide towards the right-hand side again, and Fatawu down the line for Ndidi. High cross towards the far post and headed behind again by Furlong. It's another corner. Some big goals have gone in the National League. It's now Oldham 2, Wealdstone 2 and Woking 2, Fylde 0. It's still goalless in the game between Boreham Wood and Ebbsfleet. At the moment, Boreham Wood are being relegated, but if they score, Ebbsfleet will drop into the relegation zone. Corner here for Leicester, high into the penalty area. Challenging at the near post was Vestergaard, but Furlong is there again.
Yeah, Leicester started well. Lovely bit of neat play before that corner, with Ndidi clipping the ball to the back post, and they'll obviously want to forget the penalty miss and get back to controlling the game, which is certainly where they're at their best when they're 1-0 ahead.
Vardy chasing a long ball forward now from Winks, but It's claimed by Palmer, but Vardy with thumbs up to appreciate the delivery. But while it's only 1-0, the game is in the balance, of course. And Southampton fans listening to Talksport travelling to Cardiff, and Leeds and Ipswich fans, their teams don't play today, but they'll be willing a goal from West Brom from somewhere here. It's always the situation at this stage of the season. And I wasn't working last Saturday, and Game Day Live with Adrian Durham was the best way to spend the afternoon, with so many big games and so many stories, as Dewsbury Hall with a great cross into the penalty area, nodded clear first of all by Bartley and then deflected behind by Vardy, and it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, Dewsbury Hall just so clever at finding the space. Even when it's tight, he's the one that's drifting constantly, moving to find a position to be able to then deliver for his forward players. And I mean, that is now 4 or 5 times that Jamie Vardy's completely free in the penalty area, and they've only got him to mark.
West Brom looking to build now on the far side with Wallace, but the challenge comes in from Vestergaard, and it will be a throw-in for West Brom in front of their supporters on the far side. And they're back underway in League 2, where Wrexham lead at Crewe by 2-0. And also over on Talksport 2 in the Women's Champions League, and it could be a massive result for Chelsea, leading by 1-0 at half-time at Barcelona thanks to Erin Cuthbert. Commentary continues over on 2. Furlong with a long throw towards the near post. Fatawu challenging, heads it back towards his own goal, and it's claimed well by Hermansen. And it's quickly bowled out towards this near side. Fatawu on the counter-attack now for Leicester. Vardy in support to the right, but he goes to the left, and Mavididi with the bright orange boots. He's in space on the edge of the penalty area, curls it wide. Maybe looked closer than it was.
Yeah, from our angle, we definitely did. It was a good 2 or 3 feet wide, but that's better. And they look better when they counter-attack, Leicester, because they have got good quality players. Great ball out from Fatawu to Mavididi, and that was just better, more incisive in what he was doing. A couple of shimmies and then tried to curl it in the far corner, just got it slightly wrong.
But Leicester quickly back in possession. Dewsbury Hall directing the traffic as he looks to try and find Ndidi, but West Brom will clear, and now Wallace spins away from Chowdhury initially, finding Johnston. Johnston almost nutmegs Fatawu, then manages to execute that, and he's quickly away from Winks, and Johnston lays it wide to Furlong, in space down the right hand side, inside the penalty area. They're queuing up for the cross. In the end, the shot from Mvia, it's blocked, but Diangana must score. Oh goodness me, headed over the top on the goal line by Hamza Chowdhury, his second goal line intervention for Leicester. West Brom looked certain to score, but it looped up, and Chowdhury, underneath the crossbar, somehow sent the ball over the top.
That is absolutely magnificent from Hamza Chowdhury. I've got to say, he did it in the first half. This is even better. Brilliant from Mvia. Chowdhury's behind Hermansen to make the first challenge off the line, and then when it rebounded off a great save from Hermansen onto Diangana, floated towards the top corner, Hamza Chowdhury got himself and that big hairdo up and flicked it over the top.
Hit Diangana on the arm actually, but it wasn't seen by the officials. The corner for Mowat, flicked on off the crossbar. Diangana puts it wide from a yard out. Another incredible miss from West Bromwich Albion. It was Cedric Kipre. His header hit the inside of the post, and it came back out to Diangana, and he put the ball wide, almost on the goal line.
Well, the delivery's terrific, right in the danger zone for the West Brom players to attack. I think it's Bartley, and then Vestergaard, whose head it comes off the crossbar, down to Diangana. And why is he trying to control it? Just side foot this in with your weaker foot. Trust yourself. He tries to control it, miscontrols it wide.
Oh, goodness me, what an opportunity. Opportunities for West Brom, but 6 minutes into the second half. Leicester still lead, but they're living dangerously here. But now at the other end, it's Mavididi. Back in field towards Winks, squared to Ndidi. Ndidi checks back onto his left foot, plays it back wide again towards Mavididi. Maybe there was a shooting opportunity there, but in the end, the flag's raised for offside against Mavididi. But that really is the Championship summed up in a nutshell. Those misses and that clearance from Chowdhury.
clearance, double clearance from Chowdhury is just some of the best defending I've seen all season. To be able to keep that out, brilliant from him.
Well, they've had their chances, West Bromwich Albion, but they still trail by a goal to nil. A team that don't score too many, but they could have had 3 or 4 here today. And they're coming forward again now with Johnston on this near side. Townsend is further forward, but it's back in field towards Yakuzlu, but he slips and then Mowat has lost out. And here is Vardy, wide towards Mabadidi again. Vardy continues his run. He's 37 years of age, but he covers more ground than anybody else. Now Fass. Infield towards Winks and back towards Fass again. And you just get the feeling, Dean, this game's really in the balance now.
But again, they've shown West Brom they can be a real threat as they won the ball back again.
It's won back by Kipra, but the challenge comes in on Johnston on this near side from Chowdhury. Strong in the challenge, and it's cleared away. And here is Dewsbury Hall. And Dewsbury Hall's got space and support from Mabadidi on the left-hand side, on the corner of the penalty area. He drives towards goal. Great ball in, and Barney was inches away from making it 2-0 with a tap in on the goal line.
How's he missed? How has he missed, Jamie Vardy? Surely this is just a side foot tap in from 3 yards. Mabadidi gets the ball from Dewsbury Hall. Lovely little step over and takes it to his left, whips it across. Jamie Vardy just misses it. Comes off his shin and goes wide. I can't believe he's missed this, Jamie Vardy. It must have been the defender tries to put him off, and it just means he takes his eye off it for a second. It's a golden opportunity.
And you're listening to West Brom at Leicester in the EFL Championship, live on Talksport with McDonald's. And order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. Well, we've had some misses here today, and also some incredible defending from Hamza Chowdhury. We questioned his defensive abilities before the game as a midfielder playing as a right back, but he's kept Leicester afloat here.
He has in those situations. It all came about actually though because he was beaten again by Johnston in the midfield area. But he's then totally redeemed himself with the acrobatics on the line.
10 minutes played in the second half. It's a thrilling game here, epitomising the helter-skelter nature of the Sky Bet Championship on the home of the EFL, Talksport, as Leicester come forward again with Ndidi. A win for Leicester, and they'll be back on top, 2 points clear of Ipswich, and maybe more importantly 4 points clear of Leeds. There'll be pressure on them when they go to Middlesbrough live on Talksport 2 on Monday night. As Mowat brings it forward now for West Brom into Mvia. Wallace strong in the challenge, and actually the Leicester player bounced off him. I think it was Connor Cody, but Connor Cody's gone down with the head injury, and there will be a break in play here, but no blame really attached there to Jed Wallace on first viewing.
Connor Cody wasn't expecting the twist from Jed Wallace, and they just kind of clashed chests almost. I'm not sure it was a head injury in the end from Connor Cody.
Thomas Bramble, the referee, just halting play. Chelsea still a goal up away to Barcelona in the Women's Champions League live over on Talksport 2. It's 1-1 between Aberdeen and Celtic in the Scottish Cup semi-final. And in the National League, Boreham Wood at the moment are still being relegated. They are 0-0 at home to Ebbsfleet at the moment. Other teams around them or above them are doing enough to save themselves. Bartley plays it forward for West Brom, wide to the far side, looking for Diangana, headed away though by Fass. Miscontrol from Dewsbury Hall, and Villa finding Diangana, slipped into Wallace inside the penalty area. Wide again, the low cross is swept in and put wide by Diangana. How many chances does he want? This time Grady Diangana again, 6 yards out, and he's put it wide.
It's like this cling film on the goal. I mean, how has Vardy and now how has Diangana not scored? It's really good play, finding the spare man in Furlong on the right-hand side. He whips that ball right across, penalty spot, nobody near him, left foot, inside of his foot, just literally passes it an inch wide. You can't miss the target from there when you're a professional forward player, and Diangana's got to at least get that on the target from there.
Well, he scored in wins against both Ipswich and Leeds this season, Grady Diangana. He should have scored the goals to put West Brom ahead against Leicester. But Leicester still lead by a goal to nil, but the game is incredibly stretched now. Both teams have had incredible opportunities they've missed already in the opening 13 minutes of the second half.
I've got to say, I've been really impressed with West Brom when the ball has got wide. They've flooded the area. They really have made sure that they've got bodies in there to cause problems and just picking out the right one, which they have on a numerous amount of occasions already in this game, and they've just not taken advantage of that.
Now Jan Mvia in towards Diangana, midway inside the Leicester half, and he's been wrestled there by Cody. And the free kick's been given to West Brom, and just a bit of afters as well, maybe verbals between the two players. And it's a free kick for Albion. On top at the moment, 58 minutes played, 1-0 to Leicester. But there is real tension all around the King Power Stadium now.
Well, again, a bit like the first half and the start of that. West Brom looking comfortable and dangerous, and Leicester being edgy.
Lovely turn from Diangana, and he's released Mowat. All the options to his left-hand side, including Townsend. Low ball swept back into the penalty area, comes back out towards Mowat, and now it's shot towards goal and deflected wide. It was Furlong with the shot, 12 yards out, and it took a key deflection inside the 6-yard area to send the ball behind for a corner from Connor Cody.
They're really struggling, Leicester, with that ball that's pulled back behind the centre-backs. Cody tried to come out. Mowat found Furlong, who swung his left foot at it, flashed it towards the corner, and Wout Faes was there just to skim it off his shin pad and away and celebrates.
Corner kick for Albion, 59 minutes played. In towards the near post, it travels a long way until it's eventually hammered away by Abdul Fatawu. A big heave up towards the halfway line, but that will do for Leicester at the moment, because they are under incredible pressure here, and some of it self-inflicted.
But what they can't do is regress and just sit back and let that continue. They need to push forwards and be the team that they were towards the end of that second half, which was in control and brave in the way out of possession, not sitting back.
Leicester have often had West Brom's number in recent years. 5 wins and a draw since Matt Phillips scored the winner here for Albion back in 2016 in the Premier League. He's on the bench today. He injured his hamstring in the game against Leicester at the Hawthorns and has barely featured since. Now Winks back in field towards Vestergaard. An hour played. Leicester 1, West Brom 0 on the home of the EFL. Talksport. So many big games coming up over this weekend. We have Sheffield United against Burnley from the Premier League on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock. Game day live here on Talksport with Adrian Durham. All the goals as they go in before Chelsea against Manchester City, the first FA Cup semi-final at 5:15 with Sam Matterface and Scott Minto, and Wolves against Arsenal from the Premier League, 7:30 kick-off with Joe Shannon and Danny Mills. And tomorrow we have Coventry against Manchester United, the other semi-final, with Stuart Pearce and Jim Proudfoot. Over on Talksport 2, Adam Bridge and Neil Redfern will bring you Blackburn against Sheffield Wednesday. And there'll be nerves at Ewood Park tomorrow. There are nerves here at the King Power Stadium. 61 minutes played. Wealdstone in the National League have come from behind. They now lead Oldham 3-2, and they are saving themselves as it stands at the bottom of the table. Leicester come forward now with Dewsbury Hall, try to pick out Mavididi inside the penalty area. Vardy goes down as it's swooped on by Palmer, but no hint of a penalty this time.
No, Vestergaard did the first bit brilliantly. Stepped in, faked the pass, cut inside, and then just tried a reverse pass that didn't quite work out. West Brom, and Furlong in particular, has just got himself higher up the pitch than he was in that first half. Yukuzlu's playing more as a right back, just overloading that other side now.
Albion looking to come forward again, but Furlong just overruns it on the edge of the penalty area, then goes down under the challenge of Cody. 62 minutes played. Albion, I think, will be making changes fairly soon. There's Mavididi, looked to bring it forward, but he has his pocket picked by Mvia. and now Mowat can bring it forward. And so much of the energy in the game at the moment is coming from West Brom rather than Leicester. They're really edgy, Leicester, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Mavadidi's been pretty poor in this goal.
But the crowd now urging them on as Dewsbury Hall takes the responsibility, drives down the centre towards the penalty area, but he's lost out to Umvia, and Kyle Bartley will clear on the far side, but he's closed down by Dewsbury Hall, and Dewsbury Hall almost tries to give a G-up to the crowd, and more importantly, his teammates.
He didn't have many options there, Dewsbury Hall. Tried to do it on his own, just took one too many touches and was crowded out. Just wonder whether Mavadidi's been pretty poor so far in this second half. I really like McAteer as a player and a different option, different physical presence. I liked him early on in the season. I know he's had his injury issues.
Chelsea still leading Barcelona by a goal to nil over on Talksport 2 in the Women's Champions League semi-final, first leg. And here, Leicester are leading West Bromwich Albion 1-0 as Johnston slides into a block challenge with Winks, and the ball breaks kindly for Cody, and he goes all the way back to the Leicester goalkeeper Mads Hermansen, and Wrexham are now 3 goals up, away to 10-man Crewe in League 2. Crewe rather limping into the playoffs, Dean.
Let's just hope they stay there.
Yes, there's still some work to do maybe on the final day. Now Dewsbury Hall, wide on the far side for Leicester. The cross in, looking for Mavadidi. It's headed away by Kipre. Now controlled by Fatawu. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Chowdhury with a cross in, blocked by Townsend. And here is Chowdhury again. Wide towards Fatawu. On this near side, Fatawu will try and take on Townsend. Skips away from him. The cross high to the far post. Nodded down brilliantly by Jamie Vardy. And it's a key goal for Leicester City. Once again from the veteran. Jamie Vardy is always someone they can rely on in that sort of situation. And Vardy scores the goal, which takes Leicester a long way back to the Premier League. 2-0.
What he's never lacked is desire and hunger to win a ball, and that's exactly what this needed. It's fantastic wing play, I have to say, from Fatawu. He just stands the defender up, lovely little jinking step over, gets himself away, and he doesn't make it complicated. He just stands it up to the back post. Jamie Vardy, it's all about wanting it more than Furlong. He gets himself up nice and early, Jamie Vardy, and it means Furlong can't get there. He directs the header brilliantly, powerfully, down and below Palmer to give Leicester a 2-0 lead. Brilliant centre-forward play.
25 minutes to play, and that's twice in the game now, Dean, that Leicester have scored after Albion have missed a clutch of chances.
Yes, exactly. And ultimately, if you've got players that can be more clinical than the opposition, usually, as Jamie Vardy points towards the West Brom fans, how many times has he done that?
17 goals this season, 9 in 12 since he came back from that knee injury, and 8 in 12 against West Bromwich Albion. Missed the penalty earlier, but you can't keep a good man down.
No. And I'm sure it's all a bit of fun. They were giving him plenty of stick when he missed that penalty, but as all good forwards do, you forget quickly, you move on, you wait for that next chance and you try and take it.
2-0 to Leicester. And the pressure will now grow on the chasers. Leicester look to be getting their points in early. Nathaniel Chalabar and John Swift will be coming on for West Bromwich Albion shortly.
And again, the atmosphere's changed. It was really edgy at the start of the second half when you're conceding chances. All of a sudden, the crowd is up, the players can relax, and you might see even more of the better side of Leicester City.
Of course, Jamie Vardy, when it came to prominence in the National League, and Woking are saving themselves there today. They now lead Fylde 3-0. Matt Phillips will also be coming on. A triple change incoming for West Bromwich Albion. But Leicester lead 2-0. And Ndidi and Vardy the goal scorers. And Vardy, even at the age of 37 still appears irreplaceable in this Leicester team.
Yeah, of course. And when you've got the desire he's got, it doesn't really matter the age. And just shows nothing wrong with his athleticism. Brilliant leap to out-jump Furlong. And just shows that what the wingers are capable of in this Leicester team.
Dewsbury Hall coming forward now, finds Fatawu on the edge of the penalty area, but it's guided back by Townsend. But here is Dewsbury Hall again, midway inside the West Brom half, and they will look back on those opportunities, particularly for Grady Diangana in the second half, seeing his close range effort bundled over the crossbar by Hamza Chowdhury, scrambling the ball wide from inches after the header from Kipre come back off the crossbar as it's gathered by Palmer inside the penalty area. And there's been a crucial goal in the semi-final at Hampden Park. Here's David Tanner.
64 minutes gone. It's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2. And Celtic are in front for the first time in this game. A goal scored by substitute James Forrest from the edge of the box, only 2 minutes after on the pitch. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2.
Thank you, David. And we're still awaiting this triple change for West Bromwich Albion here. And it's coming now. And the first player to come off is Okay Yakuzlu. And then Alex Mowat will also make way. So they're taking off two holding midfielders to bring on Nathaniel Chalobah and John Swift. And Matt Phillips will be the other player to come on. And he's replacing Jan Mvia. So he's emptying the midfield in search of goals here.
Yes, of course it's an attacking move. It's a slightly strange one. I assume Swift will play in the midfield alongside Chalobah rather than going and being more of a 10, and Phillips will go out on the right hand side, so it looks more of a 4-4-2 almost for West Brom.
And Swift will try and get forward, and at times Chalobah may have to almost anchor midfield on his own, but they're 2 goals down with 20 minutes to play here on Talksport. As Cody nods down, almost gives the ball away to Wallace, and he breaks kindly for Johnston. And Albion coming forward now, challenge from behind from Fatawu, but the referee says he won the ball. Johnston rolling around in agony. Now Fatawu goes down, and again Thomas Bramwell allows play to continue, and then Swift comes in with a challenge on this near side on Ndidi, who goes down in instalments and eventually gets the free kick.
No, it's a terrific challenge from Fatawu coming back. We want to see those sort of challenges in the game still. Made sure that he got the ball, took down Johnston as well, but it was a good challenge.
Boreham Wood have 10 minutes in which to save themselves in the National League. The team who were seconds away from beating Notts County in the playoff semi-finals last season. They've also lost out in a Wembley final to reach the Football League when they played Tranmere, who had 10 men for 89 minutes, but at the moment they are going down because other results are going against them, and they are 0-0 at home to Ebbsfleet. If they score, Ebbsfleet will survive, and York could also be in the picture, but Woking and Wealdstone are saving themselves at the moment. Let's get team news from a big game in the Premier League today at Kenilworth Road. Talksport's Ian Abrahams.
4 changes for Luton manager Rob Edwards, and he can bring back Mengi and Osho to his central defence alongside Burke. Also out the team of Townsend and Berry, being replaced by Kabore, who comes back after being not eligible last week, and Sambi Lakonga. 3 changes for Brentford: Ayer, Pinnock and Lewis Potter in for Roslev, Jorgensen and Mopay.
Thanks, Ian. We'll get other Premier League team news as and when. We have 19 minutes to play here at the King Power Stadium in the Championship on Talksport. Leicester City 2, West Bromwich Albion 0. Leicester going back on top of the table. And this always looked like being a big game and a tough game for them, and they've had some tough moments, Dean Ashton, but it's the mark of champions that they may have come through it. Maybe with the odd slice of luck, but you earn your own luck at this stage of the season.
Well, you do, but they've been very lucky, haven't they? I mean, they owe Hamza Chowdhury a big pat on the back, that's for sure, but you know, they've given away far too many opportunities, really, but then they've been clinical themselves, and when the pressure's on, that's all that really matters. It's not about the performance now, it's about just getting the result.
Chalobah concedes a free kick for a heavy challenge on Keenan Dewsbury Hall, and it will be a free kick for Leicester City as we go to our commentary game on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock. It's a relegation 12-pointer at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United against Burnley. Here's Ian Danter.
I'm stealing that one, Nigel. I'm stealing that one. 2 changes for either side. Vinicius Souza and McAtee return for Sheffield United. Holgate and Larouci are benched. The 2 changes for the Claret Sea returns for O'Shea and Taylor at the expense of Fofana and Ekdal. Live at 3 o'clock with me and Perry Groves. Sheffield United against Burnley on Talksport 2.
Thanks, Ian. Fatawu coming forward now on this near side for Leicester. 17 minutes to play. They lead 2-0. And Albion will make 2 more changes. Fellows and Madja coming on shortly, but shoulders have slumped from them since the second goal. But now Diangana coming forward, but he runs into Chowdhury, and Chowdhury comes away with the ball again.
Yeah, and in that midfield position, he looks so much better than when he's in a full-back position. He looks a little bit lost when he's on that right-hand side, but get him in the midfield, he can feel comfortable in his surroundings and he can intercept when's needed.
And this will be back-to-back defeats for Albion as Vardy wins it back and looks to find Mavididi as he breaks into the penalty area. Good defending though by Furlong. Palmer is then closed down by Mavididi, and he just about manages to scrape the ball away from it.
Got very lucky is what he got. Mavididi just stepping in, and the deflection fell kindly for Palmer.
And Alex Palmer has had, relatively speaking, little to do in the game compared to Manson Manson at the other end, but his team are 2-0 down. But Albion have had problems with goal scoring all season. We highlighted that pre-match here on game day, and we've seen why today. But they've still got time to maybe rescue something. 15 minutes left. Swift wide to this near side and Townsend, and now Swift again down the left into the path of Johnston, who's been quiet in the second half after some brilliant moments in the first. Swift comes in field to find Chalobah. Chalobah clips it wide to the far side. Valfast heads the ball away, but straight into the path of Furlong, who was challenged by Dewsbury Hall, but Furlong manages to maintain possession, and it's back again to Bartley on the far side. Leicester happy to retreat here with a 2-goal lead. Phillips tries to link up with Diangana, and in the end Leicester win it back, but then they've given the ball away again, and it would be an error to say that Leicester have been convincing here today, but it looks as though they are going to get the job done, leading by 2-0. Kipre plays it forward now for Albion, and here is a chance for Wallace inside the penalty area, and he scored. Jed Wallace gives Albion hope with 15 minutes to play, and Leicester were wide open there, and Wallace strode into the penalty area, stroked it home, and it's game on at 2-1.
Oh, well, he made a brilliant run, didn't he, Jed Wallace? Just peeling away from Cody, but the ball, the pass was absolutely perfect from Kipre. He just pierced through that Leicester defence. Wallace makes the run. He actually uses the referee almost, Wallace. He kind of nips around the back of the referee before getting in behind Cody. The ball's perfect, and then he just waits and waits and waits for Hermansen to commit himself, and then just slides it past him with his left foot, bobbles it into the far corner.
Cody didn't know he was there, did he?
Well, no, he hid behind the referee.
2-1. And belatedly, Albion have found the back of the net. Jed Wallace with his 6th of the season, his 49th in the Championship. Big game as well in the Championship today in South Wales. Southampton, of course, playing catch-up away to Cardiff. Here's Talksport's Lawrence Mora.
Yeah, there's 4 changes for Cardiff. A first start for Ron the teenager, Kian Ashford, Romeo Turnbull and Tanner all come into the injury-affected home team. Saints just 1 change from thumping Preston. Smallbone into the middle of midfield. Flynn Downs misses out. In Cardiff, it's Cardiff against Southampton.
13 minutes to play. Leicester leading 2-1, and suddenly the King Power Stadium is edgy once again as Albion come forward with Chalobah. Back towards Swift. Albion have got so many attacking players on the pitch now. We can see plenty of play heading towards the Leicester goal in the closing stages, but they'll be vulnerable at the back. Looks like a back 3 now.
But also they were going to bring on Madger, weren't they? Who sat back down as soon as that goal was put in by Wallace, who he was probably going to replace.
Well, Dennis Pratt will be coming on shortly for Leicester. He's had long spells out this season with a back injury. Only started 6 games. Chowdhury with a long throw downfield. Headed away by Kipra. And now Chalobah does well to leap and head the ball on. One back go by Dewsbury Hall. And I think the Leicester crowd have realised they've got a key role to play in the closing 12 minutes or so here. But now it's been given away, and Albion will try and break with Swift. Looking for Fellows, who's got pace down the left-hand side. 3 in support inside the penalty area. Fellows holds on to it initially, has Townsend on the overlap, and Fellows has maybe held on to it too long, but he's found Chalobah. Chalobah treads on the ball, doesn't know where it is, but he's still got time to regain his faculties and play it wide towards Furlong. Furlong now picking out Phillips into the near post, looking for Wallace on the sweep, and it's blocked at the near post by Vestergaard, and it's a corner.
Oh, they're ramping up the pressure now. It's getting edgy. Good ball out to the right-hand side to Phillips. He wastes no time. It's only Wallace in the box. And Vestergaard reacts late to Wallace's near post run. Luckily for him, he still hits him on the thigh.
Leicester have now conceded 14 goals in the final 15 minutes of games this season. And the latest one from Wallace has put them under pressure. The corner in, headed away at the near post. Fellows with the volley into the crowd, and it's blocked by Chowdhury. Now Townsend finding Wallace again. Fatu rather sold himself on this near side. Wallace has time to set himself for the cross. High to the far post. Kipre challenging for it. He goes down in the penalty area. He was looking for it, and Thomas Bramwell not interested. But Albion still coming forward now. Chalobah finding Swift in the central area. Swift turns to this left-hand side, and then under pressure from Dewsbury Hall goes back to the halfway line, and Townsend. But Albion, with the way they've got the team set up now, they can only play one way.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're Leicester, got to be clever. You can do what you did away from home, which is just break when West Brom totally commit themselves.
10 minutes to play here on Talksport. Leicester 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. It's another thrilling instalment of the Championship on the home of the EFL as Kipre plays it back towards Chalobah again. Dennis Pratt is still waiting to come on. But Carlos Corberán looks exasperated inside the Albion technical area. Now Wallace on this near side. Under pressure, lofts it back towards Swift. And Leicester here are standing off all over the field. They're just looking to retreat and retain. But Albion are having so much of the ball, and Carlos Corberán is urging his team to get forward here.
Well, also the substitutions have given a real freshness to the look of that forward line for West Brom.
Furlong, wide towards Bartley again. And now Kipre. Every Leicester player is back behind the ball here apart from Vardy. Swift again. Square towards Furlong. Chalobah makes the run into the penalty area, but it's cut out crucially by Chowdhury. Cleared away though. Kipre leaps with Vardy. Vardy may have got something on the ball, sends it squirting towards this near side where it's recovered by Swift. Now Kipre. Long diagonal wide towards Phillips on the far side. He'll play it back towards Furlong. Albion have so many blue and white striped shirts now, queuing up inside the area. Furlong tries to burst forward. It's cleared away by Vestergaard. It took a flick off Furlong. It's a Leicester throwing, and they are absolutely shattered here.
Yeah, they do look. They do look. I think it's more
mental
substitute. Well, and I think it's the substitutions from Carlos Corberán that's made a huge difference. Those attacking players, as Wallace is now replaced by Josh Madger, but Enzo Maresca's got to make his own changes to freshen things up.
It is finished. Boreham Wood 0, Ebbsfleet 0 in the National League, and Boreham Wood are relegated. A team which has spent so long challenging to reach the Football League, of course, had a great run in the FA Cup a couple of years ago to the 5th round. They are down. It will be the National League South for Boreham Wood next season. Woking, Wealdstone, York and Ebbsfleet have saved themselves on the final day. It's all the way back towards Alex Palmer, the Albion goalkeeper, who could have pulled out a deck chair the last 10 minutes. He's barely had a kick.
I mean, what they've done, West Brom, they've kept that back four on, but Furlong and Townsend have almost gone as wingers, and then allowing Chalobah just to drop with the two centre-backs to make a three. But it means they've got that extra player in the forward areas, and they're overloading Leicester.
Now it's played forward again on the far side by Furlong into the path of Phillips. Phillips with the high cross to the far post. Townsend will try and keep the ball alive, but it's come out as far as Fellows. Fellows has got support from Swift. Swift now. Townsend has to get back onside, but Fellows is okay as he looks to take on Fatawu. Crossed high into the penalty area. Fass will rise to head the ball clear. Furlong tries to win it back, scoops it back towards goal. I think Furlong was caught there, and the referee has blown the whistle and he's given a free kick to Leicester.
Difficult one for the referee, this, because Furlong goes diving in on Ndidi, more so just to put his leg across rather than actually playing the ball itself. Ndidi with his eyes on the ball, but Furlong gets there first, I think, and Ndidi whacks into the bottom of Furlong's boot, and I just wonder whether, because that boot was quite high, is why the referee's given it to the Leicester.
6 minutes to play here on Talksport. Leicester 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. And West Brom have made their changes. Josh Madger has come on to replace Jed Wallace. And the Leicester crowd here, there are worried faces all around us. They know how crucial the next 5 minutes or so are. And there'll be a yellow card here for Hamza Chowdhury for hauling down Tom Fellows just in front of the technical area. And Patson Daka will be on shortly for Leicester, and he's replacing Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, just starting to tire Jamie Vardy. They need to hold the ball up there. Try and get Daka on to do that. Vardy just tries to wind down the clock by giving his captain's armband to Hamza Chowdhury.
And of course it was Patson Daka who missed so many opportunities in the game last week. He now comes on for the closing 5 minutes. And really, Grady Diangana has been in that role for West Brom today. If they lose this game, they will look back on a catalogue of misses. But there's still time for them with 5 minutes to play. 2-1 Leicester lead. Heading back on top of the Championship, but it's been a rocky ride here today on Talksport. Now Vestergaard, back towards Hermansen. His first time clearance, sliced high into the air, and Albion look to win it back. Swift on this near side, but Dennis Pratt gets there first. And Pratt clips it down the line, but in the end it will go straight out of play.
Just got to try and be really calm here, Leicester. Get hold of the ball. You've still got technical players on the pitch. Winks and Didi, get hold of the ball. Try and keep your own possession. Don't just whack it forwards.
Chelsea still a goal up on Barcelona in the Women's Champions League semi-final first leg. Away from home, the conclusion of that game over on Talksport 2 before Sheffield United against Burnley. Coming up at 3 o'clock with Ian Danta and Perry Groves. And later on we have Chelsea against Manchester City, the first FA Cup semi-final at 5:15. And then Wolves against Arsenal. All the big games from all the divisions and the Cups here on Talksport over this weekend. Celtic still 2-1 up with 10 minutes to play against Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup semi-final at Hampden Park. But here, Leicester City hanging on, 2-1 up against West Bromwich Albion. That late goal from Jed Wallace has really given Albion impetus, but they've not really created a clear-cut chance since, Dean.
No, they've got themselves into a set position, Leicester. They've sat rather deep.
And of course, they've taken Dewsbury Hall off to bring on Pratt, which of course has really robbed them of the one source of drive they've had from midfield in the second half, as Albion try and play out from the back here. Patson Daka with a very heavy challenge on the far side on Furlong, and he's got a yellow card for that.
Yeah, just a bit eager to close down and win the ball. Clatters into Furlong on the far side, who just gets up and doesn't make a fuss.
Mabadidi coming off, and James Justin coming on for Leicester. And James Justin, a player who has really had serious injury problems in the early stages of his career, but remains a considerable talent as Madja now tries to bring it down inside the area for Albion, almost comes for Fellows, and it's scrambled away by Chowdhury for a corner kick.
Just about. He couldn't get it under control, Fellows. If he had, he'd been able to take a strike, and then just because of that loose touch, Hamza Chowdhury was there to poke it away.
90 seconds of normal time to play. Leicester lead 2-1. Corner kick here for West Bromwich Albion. Swift will take it. High in towards that near post area, flicked on by a Leicester head. It's Justin, and it will be another corner kick in front of the Albion fans on the far side, and Swift will quickly trot across to take it.
Oh, it's uncomfortable, isn't it, from a Leicester perspective? You thought at 2-0 they could just see the game out.
Swift again with an outswinger towards the near post, headed clear as far as Fallows on the stretch. Unable to control, he goes back to Townsend. The Leicester crowd are urging their team to get out of the penalty area, and that's what they do now, but Albion maintain possession with Chalabar. Steps away from Winks, and then Chalabar and Winks have a bit of byplay, which results in an Albion free kick in the centre circle. Chalabar tries to steal more than a couple of yards, and in the end the free kick is taken. 20 seconds of normal time to play. This is why we love the Championship. It is absolutely gripping. Kipre, high kicking, tries to flick it forward on this near side. Challenged though by Pratt, and it spins out, and it will be a throw-in on this near side for Leicester. As we tick towards the end of 90 minutes, and we wait to see from Tom Neal, the fourth official, how much added time there will be. Six more minutes.
Yeah, not what Leicester City fans wanted to see. 6 minutes. And it just shows that nothing is given. Nothing at all is given in these leagues. It's a battle right till the end.
Daka does well to hold the ball up on this near side for Leicester. Fellows gets the final touch, and it will be a throw-in for the Foxes. And really, they have not been convincing at any stage of this game, but they lead 2-1. Daka throws himself to the ground, but they've taken their chances, and West Brom haven't, and ultimately that could be the, well, it is the deciding factor.
No,
in
it
any
is,
game,
absolutely,
it?
yeah. But especially this one, when you think of the opportunities West Brom have had, they could easily have won this game.
Now Chalabar for Albion, wide to this near side, and Townsend back in field towards Swift. We played a minute of the 6 added here on Talksport. Leicester 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. Diangana, left-hand side of the penalty area. Interesting cross in, headed away by Vestergaard. Scooped away by Chowdhury, but it will come back to Diangana again. On the left, he's got support from Fellows, but it's back towards the ponytail Chalabar. Infield now to Kipre. He hit the bar in the second half amid a flurry of Albion chances before the second Leicester goal. Swift moving forward now up towards the edge of the Leicester penalty area. Comes infield, right foot shot from him. Wasn't too far away. I think Hermansen had it covered, but it just whizzed over the angle.
Well, we know he's capable from that sort of range. If you just back off, just sidesteps Winks, and then looks to strike, and it just didn't get the dip, did it? Always looked over the top.
4 minutes of added time to play, as the home crowd try and get behind their team again. The long clearance from Hermansen, headed away by Bartley, and Leicester will have a throw-in. And there are so many fans around us with their heads in their hands.
I just wonder whether taking off Wallace was a wise move. I thought he was causing a lot of problems to Connor Cody, spinning constantly in behind. Literally since he's gone off, they've not looked like creating anything at all.
And now Fatawu has lost out on the edge of the Albion penalty area. Townsend with a high ball forward, headed away by Vestergaard. Fass heads it further wide, and then Justin will just nod it out to play. And Albion believe they have a throw-in on the far side with 3 minutes of added time to play here. On Talksport, Leicester 2, West Brom 1. A Leicester win, and they'll be back on top, 4 points clear of Leeds, who play at Middlesbrough. Live on Talksport 2 on Monday. If Leeds lose that, Leicester could go up with a victory against Southampton here on Tuesday. Now Townsend on this near side, finding Swift. Swift comes in field again. Chalabar. Townsend keeps his width down the left, but Albion look to the right. Bartley finding Fellows. Fellows comes in field. 2 minutes of added time to play. Bartley. High ball wide to this near side. Pratt challenging with Townsend. Nods it out of play, and it will be a throw into Albion a couple of yards from the corner flag. Thrown short to Chalabar. Chalabar now swings the high cross into the penalty area. Furlong challenging for it. It's headed clear by Vestergaard. Controlled now by Phillips on the edge of the penalty area. Squeezed out to Swift, who fires the shot in, and he never really got hold of it, and Hermansen clings on.
No, it's the wrong decision. That's why. He was stuck under his feet, John Swift. It was good work from Phillips to get it to him, but he could have just opened his body out and played Fellows in. Instead, he tries the creative outside of the right foot with no purchase whatsoever and kind of gifts it back to Leicester.
Cleared downfield by Hermansen. 90 seconds of added time to play as Bartley tries to win it back on the far side, and in the end a throw-in has been given to Leicester City by the corner flag as Kipre slid in, and Leicester have the ball where they need it with a minute of added time to play. So many Leicester fans are on their feet around us here. One or two are going home. How can you go home at this stage? Never leave early. Throw into Leicester. In towards Ndidi. But Albion win it back, and Palmer will slide it wide to this near side, and Phillips back in field to Swift. Can Albion create one final chance here? Swift hits it long, looking for Townsend, but the ball will drift out of play, and it's a throw into Leicester, and that may be that.
Yeah, they're looking tired, aren't they? Fatawu's gone down, maybe with a bit of cramp. It's been a tough second half for Leicester. It's not what they want, and Maresca's saying get up, because all it does is add more time.
If it stays like this, Leicester move on to 91 points with 3 games to play. Ipswich will have 89 points with 3 games to play. Leeds will have 87 points with 3 games to play, and Southampton playing today 84 points, and they've got 4 games left, including their trip to Cardiff. But if Leicester win this, it piles the pressure on Leeds on Monday. Kipre heads it forward. Fellows challenging Justin, but it breaks to Diangana. He goes down on the edge of the penalty area. Appeals for a free kick, nothing given. Palmer now just has to pump it long, deep into the 97th minute, looking for Bartley. Almost drops to Phillips. Now Townsend down the left. His cross, though, is blocked by Chowdhury. All eyes on the referee. Winks tries to win it back, and it's a throw into Leicester on this near side, which is celebrated like a goal from the Leicester supporters. Winks has gone down, clutching his face, and temper's beginning to boil over in the technical areas as well, as Kipre is shown a yellow card. And Mads Hermansen looks at the crowd and says, we're nearly there, and that is it. Leicester City are back on top of the Championship. It's another significant step back towards the Premier League. It has been an afternoon which has pulled at the emotions, but Leicester have done it when it's mattered. West Brom will head into the playoffs on the back of this defeat, but Leicester, despite all of their recent problems, could be up on Tuesday night. And although the Foxes have been unconvincing once again, it is the mark of champions that they have got the 3 points. Leicester City 2, West Bromwich Albion 1.
Nigel Adderley, thank you very much. Leicester are getting closer. What scenes here at the King Power Stadium, a party atmosphere, even though the job isn't done yet. Huge hugs for Hamza Chowdhury from every single one of his teammates. He has saved his side today, hasn't he? We're going to dissect